What's up, Vape fam? Welcome back to the show, and today we are featuring another special guest, so let's get to it. What's up, Collins? How are you doing today?
Good, how about yourself? I'm
doing good. For everybody, this is Collin with Builder's Best Coils, probably some of the most best coils that I've ever used. I'm thinking that's why you named it the Best Coils. He's a coil manufacturer, and he does an awesome job at building coils. I mean, these coils are great. So, first off, I would like to ask you, well, first off, I'd like to thank you for being on the show. I really appreciate it. And I know that your story will help to inspire others to give vaping a try. So, the first question that everybody wants to know, of course, is what are you vaping on right now? What mods, juices, etc.?
Well, right now I'll start with the, I'm using the Defiant Designs TS. It's a 3-battery parallel mech squonker. I am running the drop RDA on it. That's my personal favorite combo. And I am running some Vapetasia Strawberry Killer Custard with that.
Okay, yeah. Everybody loves a drop. It's crazy because I think I'm the only vapor on the planet that doesn't have a drop RDA. I gotta go get one. Because everybody has one.
Yes.
Kimmy was using, when I was doing Kimmy's interview with Kimmy Vapes, she was using 2. She had one on both of them. She was like, you got to get one. What's wrong with you? You're like behind. And that was like a month ago and I still haven't got one. I don't know why I don't just go pick one up.
It's worth it, man. It's worth it.
Everybody says, man, that you can't, there's like no better airflow than that. You can adjust the airflow to vape in any possible configuration that you want that will vape perfect for any person. Everybody keeps telling me that. And I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta go get one. And I just never do it. I don't know why. I've probably been in 5 vape shops that have, you know what I'm saying, the drop set right there. And I go in there and get some juice or get something else or talk to somebody and I don't ever pick one up. I don't know why. Everyone has a story of how they were introduced to vaping. How did you find out about vaping?
Let's see. I remember it's got to be at least 7 years ago now. My buddy ended up picking me up, and I remember that he just like showed me this little. It was like the pen style back then, and it was the he had a Volcano e-cigs pen, and it wasn't variable wattage, no variable voltage, no nothing on this one. And it was, they had, it was before even the Kanger Pro tanks were out too. It was like this little cartomizer tank. And so he ended up letting me try that. And I was obviously still smoking cigarettes at the time. And I ended up trying that and I loved it. And it was so basic, but the flavor is what really, that was what got me into it. And then, so I picked one up, and that was really my first experience vaping. It didn't obviously last too long at that point, but that was what got me into it in the beginning, and what kind of opened my eyes to vaping, which would later on lead me into trying more and more devices and getting further into it.
Okay. So when you started on this pen, you know, you got to the point where you wasn't smoking cigarettes no more, and that one moment where you had that moment where you sat there and said, I'm not a smoker no more. How did you feel at that moment?
It was kind of a freeing feeling, really, more than anything. It's you know, when you realize that you don't have to, you know, you're not really a slave to it anymore. You know, it's more of a, you know, because after a while, to me, it's like vaping became almost like a take it or leave it thing where, you know, you can just kind of take a couple hits off it, put it down and go leave, do whatever you're doing, rather than, you know, standing outside freezing your ass off, smoking a full cigarette or whatever. And it's, you know, you just realize that you're no longer a slave to tobacco. It was a very freeing experience.
I think that's one of the best ways it's ever been described. It's just freeing. Like, you know, I sit back and I remember that day when I quit smoking and I knew, because it all happened for me on one day. It was February 5th. I got the kit. I hit it 4 or 5 times. I tried to hit a cigarette. It was like, oh my God, this thing tastes nasty. It was like, this was all in like 5 minutes. It's like, oh man, I didn't realize how bad this tasted. I came home, I handed my brother-in-law my cigarettes, and I never smoked a cigarette after that day. And yeah, it was tough for the first couple of weeks, don't get me wrong, but I just, I never smoked a cigarette again. And it was very freeing. I never thought about it like that. So smoking is never an easy addiction to overcome, you know, but vaping can make that transition a whole lot easier, you know. What would you say was the hardest thing for you to overcome when you were making that transition from smoking to vaping?
Hardest thing. I've never been asked that. So it's the hardest thing is probably in the beginning, before I found a device that I really liked. It was the fact that I wasn't getting like the pull that I wanted off of it. So it was like it wasn't quite as satisfying at that time. Like I was kind of getting used to like, you know, trying different flavors that wasn't like a cigarette or something like that. I wasn't getting the throat hit or like, you know, that feeling in your lungs that you would get because, you know, all the devices, you know, they were well over 1 ohm, and so you're not getting very much power behind nothing. And so that was probably the hardest thing, was getting used to something that wasn't a cigarette.
I have to say, I think especially because the drag on them, like the ego style pens, because that was about to, you know, you're back in the time about the same time that I started, and it was like, give me some vapor, some fuck, man. Just, you know, it was tough. It was definitely tough. Now that vaping not only saves you from all the smoker-related ailments that we, you know, suffer, cancer, emphysema, all that shit. You know, vaping has saved you from all that stuff. How has your life been changed because of vaping? I know that you're a coil builder and that you build some excellent coils because you sent me some and they're great. But, you know, overall, you know, how has your life, how has it been changed?
I mean, it's really been changed in so many ways because, I mean, in the beginning, it just started off as, you know, strictly vaping without any of the coil building, without any of that. It was strictly vaping and, you know, changing that lifestyle of, you know, being able to not have, you know, friends and family tell you that, like, you know, my family hated that I smoked, you know, and so there was like even a stigma about that. So it was, you know, kind of being a little bit more welcomed around family and stuff like that was better. And then it's just, like you said, health and stuff like that, you know, you feel a lot better, you know, granted, I'm not in the best shape of my life, you know, I'm not gonna lie and go and say that, but, you know, I feel way better than I did smoking cigarettes, that's for sure. But, and then getting into the coil building and everything, you know, it consumed my life. That was where I really decided that I wanted to, you know, kind of dive into the community, because with vaping, there's so much community behind everything that, you know, a lot of people don't see. And so it really kind of became my life, you know, it became a job. It was what I dived into. You know, my fiance works at a vape shop, so that became her life as well. And that's what I do all day. It's either vaping, it's something related to that. Now a lot of it is focused on advocacy and, you know, trying to give back and allow others to be able to have that chance, because, you know, with everything going on, a lot of people might not get that chance if they end up taking this shit away. And so, you know, it's important for the ones that actually, you know, do give a shit to be able to, you know, vouch for the ones that haven't had that opportunity yet. So it changed my life in a lot of ways.
So when was the time that, you know, you went from vaping being, you know, and building coils and stuff being just a hobby over to that you wanted to do this as a business?
I mean, it kind of started off where, like, you know, going to the little local shops and picking up like a random set of Claptons or something like that. And, you know, the wire, like a lot of the wire tasted like garbage, you know, and so really I was looking for a more quality experience. So that was what kind of led me into the coil building. And, you know, that took a long time to really get into. It takes a lot of practice to really get into. Like, I sucked when I first started. It was bad. And,
I still suck.
You know, you'll go through thousands of feet of wire just learning how to do a basic Clapton, you know, and it was, so I just kept practicing and practicing, trying to give myself the most quality vape experience that I could have. And then, so, you know, I would just start sharing them here and there with people. And then next thing you know, I'm starting to get people hitting me up like, hey, can I get some here? Can I get some there? Blah, 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 blah. And then really it just kind of made sense to me at that point where it was, you know, I had never even considered selling them. And it was, after you get hit up by so many people, it just kind of like clicked in my head that like, it would be nice to be able to give everybody else that same quality experience that I'm looking for. So if you're not happy with the vape that you have, you know, it's so much easier to go back to smoking if you're not happy with what you're vaping, you know? So it was really, I just, I love good quality shit. That's what I love, good quality shit. And I want to share that with people. That's really it. And so that's what made me want to go into business.
That's awesome, man. That's really awesome. Because people don't look at it like that. You know, I mean, my thing was, you know, and one of the things that I've pushed for so much is, you know, teaching. You know, not just teaching about vaping, but teaching about the quality of vaping. You know, a lot of people don't understand it. Just because you go out and buy a mod doesn't mean it's going to be a good mod. So I've tried so many mods over the years and tried to find that perfect one. And actually, I did a video not too long ago. It was on my Quick Tip Tuesday videos where I say, hey, just because you see something doesn't mean that it's going to be a good mod. Don't just go buy it because you see a bunch of people on Instagram or YouTube putting it out. Like, do your research first. Like, really research before you spend your hard-earned money on a mod that might be crap, you know. We've all bought mods that just, we're like, what the fuck, why did I spend my money on this? You know, this is crap.
Yeah. That's how it was. Like, so I moved to, I'm in Ohio right now. I just recently relocated from San Francisco. And so I left all my vape stuff in San Francisco. And when I moved back out here, I kind of like, you know, I was smoking again for a little bit. I just like recently picked up vaping again within the last year and a half. And so when I got out here, I had to like restart my collection again. And, you know, so when I started vaping and actually like I gave up cigarettes again, I was just like, I was so tired of it. I already knew about vaping. I knew that it worked. But I tried to go the cheap ass route because I had just started working. I'm trying to save money. So I picked up like, what was it? I picked up like the V8 stick or something. And then within that same day, I wasn't even happy with that. And then I picked up this little Leaf 80 watt. Then within like a week, I wasn't happy with that. And I would have just saved myself so much money if I would have just bought quality from the get. You know, like just from Jump Street, I would have been way better off rather than blowing a bunch of money trying to be a cheap ass.
And a lot of people do that. I mean, a lot of people go the cheap route and it's not always, you know, you get what you pay for. Now, there's some companies out there that are selling cheap mods that are good. Geek Vapes being one of them. I think Geek Vapes is killing it on their products, but
absolutely.
But you know, there's other companies, Smock being one of them, man. They put out a new mod like every 2 weeks, and it's like, and like this, you know, with this wonderful, good-looking gadget right here, a week, and I broke the screen. I didn't have it a week, I don't think. I think it was like a couple days, and it fell off. It fell on carpet, like literally like 1 foot on carpet, and it cracked the screen. Like, really? So I mean, it's still very great.
If you think about it too, like, you know, someone that's new to vaping, you go and buy a cheap product, like, in a way you almost essentially could be risking your life on a cheap product. Because, you know, let's say you go and get that cheap product and you're not happy with it, you go right back to smoking. Who's to say you're going to get another chance to come back to vaping? Your ass could get cancer and have to go through that entire route. You know, it's like, it really, quality in a sense is going to make you happier in the long run rather than buying some cheap garbage and risking going back to smoking.
And everybody, he creates some, like, dude, he creates, I don't even know, I think I got one set that I haven't used. All the ones that you sent me, I've already used all the rest of them. But shit, everything I got here has a set in yours, I think. Yeah, everything except this, because it got a SUBOHM tape on there, but everything else got, I don't even think I have a set left. But he makes some great products. I'm telling you guys right now, these coils hit hard as shit. What is your pricing range on them? You know, because I can't really tell about pricing because you sent me mine for free, but
anywhere from $7 to let's see, anywhere from 7 to 25, anywhere from 7 to 25, and that's like 25 is obviously if you're like requesting a ridiculous custom order where I'm gonna like, you know, blow through a ridiculous amount of wire and put a lot of time into it. But it's you know, generally I try and keep it a couple bucks lower than everybody else's while giving you quality, but also not enough to where it's low enough to where I feel like I'm stepping on other builders' toes.
Yeah.
Because I mean, that's important. Is like I said, that, you know, there's a community about this, and so the thing about builders is we all help each other in a sense. You know, it's I wouldn't know what I know without asking other builders questions. You know, and then it's my job in return to return the favor and, like, you know, help the new guy coming into it and stuff like that. And there's a lot of people that are just like me that go into business as well. Some of them sell quality products, some of them sell cheap wire. I'm not gonna, like, that's not my business. But, you know, it's I do my best to give out the absolute best quality that I can at an affordable price.
So, if there was one piece of advice that you could give somebody that was thinking about using vaping to quit smoking, or even somebody that's vaping that's thinking about getting into coil building, what would that piece of advice be?
If it's to quit smoking, keep at it, you know, and at least, you know, give it a shot until you find something that you like. You know, don't give up because you got a product that you don't like, because there are so many products out there that you're bound to find something that you do like. So, you know, don't, I guess in other forms of recovery, they always say don't quit before the miracle happens. You know, it's kind of one of their like cheesy pickup lines, but it's like, it's really true. Right, it's the truth. You know, as cliche as it sounds, it's the truth. And so there's so many different products out there that, like, you know, you will find something that you like. So don't give up until, you know, you got to try everything, you know. And in terms of coil building, really, it's kind of the same thing, you know. It's one of those things that you just got to put work into, you know. It depends on really how far you want to go with coil building, because there's so many different things that you can do with coil building in terms of, like, you know, if you're just looking to twist some wires together, you can get a fantastic vape off of just twisting a couple pieces of wire together. You know, some of the first coils that I ever vaped before I personally started building, people would just get me twisted 26 gauge. You know, 2 pieces of twisted 26, fantastic. 24 gauge, fantastic. Like, you can start off round wire, start off basic, you know, then you start learning how to Clapton wires, then you go into the fused Claptons, and then, like, for me, you know, I went on Instagram and I saw all these builders doing, like, builds that you can't even vape just for art, you know, it's just art. And that was what really got me into it. I was like, whoa, I want to learn how to do that, you know? And so I started kind of, like, turning that into just putting out the cleanest work that I could, but on a production scale to be able to sell for people to actually vape as well. So keep at it, really.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's super awesome, because I've tried. You know, I've done some aliens, I've done some regular Claptons and stuff like that, and I was like, man, dude, fuck this, man. It's too much damn work, man. I got time to be sitting here for 2 hours wrapping a wire. Like, hey, I can't do this shit. You know, so
it'll take hours and thousands of feet of wire to, like, to get even just a basic Clapton. Like, before, I didn't even know I don't know if you can see it over here, but, like, you know, swivels, before these swivels were even a thing, you know, just sitting there with a drill trying to freehand Clapton shit, you know, it was hard. I went through a lot of wire just learning how to do that. And
a lot of skin, because that's the one thing I used to know, is your skin would be gone. I'd be like, man, I'm about to start bleeding, man. This is too much work. Somebody got to make this shit. I could just buy it from them. Well, before I end the show, why don't you give yourself a plug, tell everybody where that they can reach you at, you know, any places that they can find you at, and any last words of wisdom for us.
don't really got any last words of wisdom, man. Just keep doing what you're doing, man. Keep it real with everything. You can find me at BuildersBest CJ42 on Instagram, BuildersBest Premium Handmade Coils on Facebook. Right now, that's it. I'm working on a website. I'm working on a couple other things in the works, so that should be coming out here soon. But those are the two places that you can keep an eye on. That the rest will be out very shortly. I'm in a shop at Allen County Vapes in Kentucky, and there's a few more in the works. So keep your eyes out.
All right. Okay, everybody. Thanks you guys for watching. You know, I hope that you learned something in this episode, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace. Thank you for viewing. It means the world to me. And if you haven't had a chance to subscribe to the channel yet, go ahead and do it now. And remember, vaping saved your life, so help vaping save more lives. Spread the word and keep on vaping.